The former president of the United States, Donald Trump, has been criticized for his comments on the September 11 terrorist attacks across all social media during a controversial defense of the LIV Golf series. A pretty rocky situation overall. If you're interested in learning more about the incident, then stick around, as today we'll be going over all the recent news and updates from the world of golf. Starting off with Trump's controversial comments on 9/11. When asked to comment on the protests against the Saudi-sponsored golf championship being hosted at his club in Bedminster, New Jersey, the former US president replied saying, "Nobody's gotten to the bottom of 9/11. If that wasn't bad enough, the fact that the event was being held less than 80 kilometers away from the place where the Twin Towers once stood just escalated the opposition and protests from the public." Trump also went on to defend the Saudi Arabian government during his statement, claiming to have known those people for a very long time and that they were all friends of his for just as long. He also mentioned that what they were doing for golf was also great. However, family members of the victims of the devastating terrorist attacks have spoken out against the event and have called upon Trump to cancel the tournament because of its connections to Saudi Arabia, the people who they believe were responsible for 9/11. This is because 15 of the 19 hijackers who were involved in the 2001 terrorist attacks were all Saudi citizens sent by al-Qaeda and led by Osama bin Laden. The Saudi government has been claiming that they'd nothing to do with the attacks to this day. However, families of the victims, as well as other protesters, have suggested otherwise. The 9/11 Justice Group, made up of the families of the victims, denounced Trump for hosting the tournament in the first place. It's not known whether the former president was hinting towards Saudi involvement in the 9/11 attacks, though his comments on Thursday, especially since it's public knowledge that the terror attacks were coordinated by al-Qaeda, a terrorist group led by Osama bin Laden at the time. Back in 2011, Navy SEALs tracked and killed bin Laden during a raid on his compound in Pakistan. So what are Trump's ties to Saudi Arabia? Back while he was still running for president for the first time around, Trump blamed Saudi Arabia for carrying out the 9/11 attacks. It became one of his main topics during debates, so it's understandable to see people get mad at him for changing his view on them. However, during his time in office, Trump developed a close relationship with the Saudi government and even took a controversial approach at a time when both Democratic and Conservative Party lawmakers had called for the US government to reassess its ties with the country. Trump also went out of his way to defend Prince Mohammed from the backlash caused by the brutal murder of Jamal Khashoggi, who was a Washington Post columnist. After Trump lost the 2022 elections and moved out of the White House, the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund invested $2 billion in a firm controlled by Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Trump. Kushner had also served as Trump's senior advisor during the latter's time in the White House. He too developed a close relationship with Prince Mohammed, the ruler of Saudi Arabia. It's apparent that there's a clear connection between the Saudi government and Trump, but the extent to which that relationship goes is unknown. However, the fact that the connection exists in the first place is enough for most people to not trust Trump's statements about LIV and the Saudi government as a whole. Meanwhile, Trump was called out for his remarks on the Saudi government. Families of the victims simply can't understand how someone like Trump, who turned the hatred toward Saudi Arabia into an election statement, could support a business that was being financially supported by the Saudi government. The families have claimed that Trump's betrayal of the American people and those who lost their lives in the attacks have caused them extreme pain, frustration, and anger. Similarly, people also called out Trump for his comments on social media, where most users labeled his comments on 9/11 as jaw-dropping and disgraceful. Trump's decision to host a LIV Golf event has also recently come under fire from America's National Press Club over the Saudi Crown Prince's connection to the murder of a Washington Post journalist, Jamal Khashoggi. Khashoggi had been brutally killed while he was at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul back in 2018. After the incident, the US intelligence community concluded that it was the Crown Prince who had ordered the entire operation. Meanwhile, in other other golf-related news. First off, Henrik Stenson wins LIV Golf Invitational in New Jersey. Stenson's decision to leave the European Ryder Cup captaincy ended up paying off big time last Sunday after winning the LIV Golf Invitational event held at Bedminster and winning more than $4 million for just 3 days of work. Maintaining a 3-shot lead as he went into the third and final round at the Trump National Golf Course, Stenson started the day off with a 20-foot birdie putt and never let anyone get closer than 2 shots for the rest of the way. He finished off the round 2 under 69, leading to a 2-shot victory over fellow golfers Matthew Wolff and Dustin Johnson. The latter birdied the last hole for a 68 and took second place. Not only did Stenson pick up $4 million for winning the individual tournament, but he also won an additional $375,000 as his team finished in second place during the team championship as well. This massive payoff, which doesn't include the reportedly $50 million signing bonus he received for joining, came less than 2 weeks after the 46-year-old Swedish player made the decision to join the Saudi-funded golf series. Stenson had originally pledged full support to the European Tour after he was appointed as the Ryder Cup captain, and then when the tour removed him from the job 4 months later, he changed his mind. It's as they say, when one door closes, another opens, and in Stenson's case, that door led him to over $50 million in earnings. Now that's a happy ending if we've ever seen one. Next up is Tony Finau winning his second PGA Tour victory. Tony Finau has managed to change everyone's opinion about him in less than a single year. Finau snagged the Rocket Mortgage Classic last Sunday at the Detroit Golf Club in, you guessed it, Detroit, and in the process became the first player in the last 3 years to win 2 consecutive PGA Tour tournaments in the regular season. He closed off the event with a spectacular 5 under 67 score for a 5-shot victory, plus a tournament record of 26 under 262 in total. This is his 4th career victory overall and his 3rd title in less than 12 months. Finau began his victory stretch last August at the Northern Trust, where he claimed his first ever victory in 5 years after participating in 142 PGA Tour events. The champ said that he was proud of the way he fought through adversity throughout his career. He also added a bit of an inspirational message to viewers by saying, "They say a winner is just a loser who kept trying, and that's me." He hit a grand total of 66 out of 72 greens in regulation to become the 3rd most accurate shot in PGA 72-hole tournament history since the 1980s, trailing behind Peter Jacobsen, who hit 69 greens in regulation at Pebble Beach back in 1995 Willywood, who just a year later would hit 67 at the Sanderson Farms Championship. But he still managed to break another record though. With his 6th birdie at the number 17 hole and a closing par, he managed to break Nate Lashley's tournament record of 25 under set back in 2019 during the inaugural PGA Tour event. Finau was also the 3M Open winner last week in Minnesota, where he won by 3 after he rallied from 5 strokes back. And lastly, Ayaka Furue wins Women's Scottish Open. Ayaka Furue of Japan blasted her way through the tournament with a record final round of 62, 10 under par of 72, to win her very first LPGA title during the Women's Scottish Open last Sunday. Furue's final score of 62 marks her lowest recorded score ever on the LPGA Tour, plus her 4-day total of 267 is also her new career best for the 72-hole tournament. The 22-year-old rookie has 7 wins on the Japanese Tour and finished with an exemplary 21 under par total after she had started the day off 4 shots behind Celine Boutier and Lydia Ko, the overnight leaders. She hit a total of 10 birdies, including a streak of 6 back-to-back birdies, starting from the 6th hole and won with a 3-shot lead from the 2nd-placed Celine Boutier, who completed the final round with 69. Boutier managed to finish with a 3 under 69, but was still disappointed with the loss. She had made 4 bogeys and 7 birdies in the final round, but it just wasn't enough to keep up with Furue's momentum. Still, there are plenty of positive points that Boutier will be carrying on with her as she prepares for the final major tournament of the year next week. The victory marks Furue as the 5th Rolex first-time winner of the 2022 female season. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Trump's comments on 9/11? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.